Okay, let's just jump right into it. What if a computer could move your hand for you? And I don't mean guiding a robot you're controlling. I mean directly, making the muscles in your own arm contract. It sounds like something straight out of science fiction, right? Well, this technology is actually already here, and it's forcing us to ask some really profound questions about where our control ends and where machine control begins. And believe me, this is where the story gets fascinating.
And this quote, it really gets to the heart of it all. You know, for decades, our relationship with computers has been pretty much a one-way street, right? We type, we click, we move a mouse, we tell the computer what to do. But that's all changing. Now the computer can act back, and not just on a screen, but on our own bodies. I mean, that is a fundamental, game-changing shift in how we interact with machines.
So you're probably asking, how on earth is this even possible, right? How can a machine speak the language of our own nervous system? Well, let's break down the science behind it. It's actually surprisingly straightforward, but the implications? Whoa. They are anything but.
All right, the tech is called electrical muscle stimulation, or EMS for short. And the key thing to wrap your head around is that it completely bypasses your brain's voluntary control. See, normally, your brain sends a little electrical signal down your spinal cord to a muscle, telling it, hey, contract. Well, EMS basically hijacks that process. A computer generates its own signal, and boom, the muscle contracts. It doesn't matter if your brain told it to or not.
And the process itself? It's incredibly direct. You've got a computer program that sends a command. That command gets turned into a tiny electrical impulse, which is delivered by electrodes on your skin. And just like that, the muscle contracts. It is a direct, physical command from a machine straight to your body. Simple as that.
So this leads to a really wild concept, artificial muscle memory. Think about it. Learning to play the piano or swinging a golf club, it takes thousands and thousands of repetitions to build up that muscle memory. But what if a computer could just teach your muscles the perfect motion directly, from the outside in? That is the seriously powerful idea driving this whole thing.
And look, this isn't just some theory stuck in a lab somewhere. Oh no. It's already out there being applied in the real world. We're talking about everything from helping patients walk again to creating basically super athletes. EMS is already making a huge impact in a bunch of different fields.
Yeah, its most established use is definitely in medicine. I mean, for stroke patients, EMS can help reestablish that crucial connection between the brain and muscles that have been weakened. For people with spinal cord injuries, it can actually power functional movements, letting someone grasp a cup or even pedal a specialized bike. It's a technology that can genuinely restore dignity and independence. It's pretty incredible.
But it's not just in the hospital. It's also jumped into the world of elite performance. You might have even seen these full-body EMS suits online. They promise this super intense workout by firing up way more muscle fibers at the same time. What I think is even more fascinating, though, is using EMS for real-time form correction. Imagine a tiny, targeted little zap that nudges an athlete's elbow into the perfect position during a heavy lift. That's next level.
And, you know, as is the case with so many powerful technologies, the military is definitely exploring its potential. And here the applications get a lot more serious. We're talking about something called reflex conditioning, using EMS to literally train a soldier's body to react faster than they can even think. Or creating training simulations where a soldier can physically feel the recoil of a weapon without ever firing a single real bullet. Wild stuff.
Okay, so we've seen where it is today, in hospitals, gyms, and military labs. But where is this tech going in, say, the next 10 or 15 years? Let's look over the horizon because, honestly, the projections are pretty stunning.
This timeline gives us a really cool glimpse into that future. Just imagine, by 2030, AI-guided rehab clinics that could slash recovery times. Then a couple years later, industrial exosuits that physically force-correct lifting techniques to prevent injuries on the job. And then, get this, by 2038, we could see EMS as a totally mainstream feature in virtual reality, letting you actually feel the weight and resistance of virtual objects. I mean, the line between the digital world and the physical world is getting seriously blurry.
Now, I know what you're thinking. All of this future potential, it sounds amazing, but is it just a bunch of hype? Well, there's always one really good way to figure out how serious a new technology is. You follow the money. And let me tell you, the numbers here tell a very, very clear story.
$1.5 billion. And let that sink in for a second. That's the estimated value of just the medical market by 2030. This is not some fringe idea anymore. It's a massive, established industry that's built on real-world results.
And you can see that expansion happening right here. While medical and rehab provide this really strong base, the real explosive growth is happening in sports, fitness, and especially in that new sector of VR and gaming haptics. This is a technology that's breaking out of its medical box and heading straight for you and me, the consumer market.
But there's always a but, isn't there? With all this huge potential, with all this money pouring in, and with the technology getting better so fast, with any tech this powerful, a technology that can literally take control of your body, we absolutely have to pause and confront the ethical red flags.
So the challenges are pretty clear, and they fall into a few buckets. On the technical side, it's still really hard to control delicate, fine motor actions. From a safety perspective, there's always a risk of injuring a nerve or muscle if the stimulation isn't applied just right. But the real minefield? That's the ethical column. We're talking about the blurring lines of personal autonomy and consent.
And this really lays out the core dilemma perfectly. On one side, you have voluntary action. Your brain has a thought, and that thought turns into movement. That's the definition of having your own agency. But on the other side, you have an external computer that just makes your body move. Now, when it's for therapy, that line seems pretty clear. But what happens when it's not for therapy?
Which brings us to the ultimate question, doesn't it? Who controls the impulses? Is it you? Is it your physical therapist? Your boss? The government? The answer to that question matters a lot. Because whoever controls those impulses, in that moment, controls a piece of your physical self. Look, ultimately, it all comes down to this one simple fact. The exact same technology that can empower someone with a disability to move again could, in a different context, be used to force someone to move against their will. The line between empowering and coercive is razor thin, and where that line gets drawn will be defined by the rules and the ethics we decide to build around it. And so we're left with a question that goes way beyond just the tech itself. I mean, think about it. Our sense of self, who we are, it's so deeply tied to the simple belief that we are in control of our own bodies. So when a computer can move your body for you, what does that really mean for our identity, for our autonomy, and maybe most importantly, for our understanding of what it even means to be human?